RMJ movie reviews back again with the final happy Halloween horror movie reviews. Well, y'all, this is to a close. And what a way to end this spectacularly fun marathon of horror films during the month of Halloween, which I highly enjoyed. We're going to end this puppy with a bang. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. From 1989. About the best thing I can say about this movie is I really love this cover art. And this cover art is, like, awesome. I will give them that's one of the things that I miss about the 80s is just, look this is look at that. That's just cool. With her and she kind of runs into the blade like that. I just think that's just an awesome cover. I love this poster for this movie. I actually think this is even cooler than Halloween 4's poster. Okay, so on to Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Look, y'all, we all know the history of this movie. We know that after Halloween 4 was a big hit, we saw it on the 25 Years of Terror DVD. They rushed this movie into production. I mean, literally, after they got the call that Halloween 4 was #1 at the box office, they must have just literally said that weekend, start the script, start it. I mean, damn, they must have filmed it literally the weekend Halloween 4 came out. Because this thing just meanders and oh my god. Okay, so here we go. The usual. My background with Halloween 5. I had seen Halloween 5 when it first came on video. Yes, I do remember that seeing big newspaper ads with this picture. And I remember that I had already seen Halloween 4. I didn't remember that it was a year between the movies because I was so young. I was like 8 or 9 or something like that. But I do remember seeing those big plaster ads in the Plain Dealer of Halloween 5 with that knife through Jamie on the picture or whatever. And I was a kid, so I was curious. I never saw the film. And then I remember seeing the advertisements that it was coming to the video store with the slashing through the pumpkin and all of that, which, like many have noted across YouTube, all movie reviewers and Halloween fans will all admit that opening title sequence to Halloween 5 is probably about the best part of the entire movie, of the slashing pumpkin. Really cool and pretty inventive. But either way, it had come to video. I wanted to see it. I never got a chance to get my hands on a copy of it. And my sister actually rented it from the video store, and she knew I used to like horror films, so she rented it from the video store. Matter of fact, the reason I remember was because it was when me and my mother and my sister lived in our old house before we had moved. And our old house was 3 stories. And there was an attic where we used to have the cable television and the movies, and I used to watch all these movies and stuff I used to watch up in that attic. So she had Halloween 5 for me rented from the video store in those big giant videotape boxes they had back then. And I watched Halloween 5. I was 9 years old. Of course I loved it. I thought it was great. But, like everybody else at the time, I was like, who the hell is this guy in the boots? Who's this guy in the boots? And then it ended. Now, here's my thing. I was confused by the guy in the boots. And I was confused as to why Michael Myers is in his mask and he's shackled. How can he be in shackles if he's superhuman and he stuck his thumb through a 4 guy's head and he cracked another dude and he shoved a shotgun up through a girl in Halloween 4? How he could be shackled, I don't know. And why this cowboy guy breaks him out of jail, I don't know. I didn't know. So, fast forward, my best friend who lived around the corner, his mother ordered it off pay-per-view. We're going old school, y'all. This was pay-per-view. They ordered it off pay-per-view, and I remember my friend's older brother at the time, who was about 10 years older than us, so he must have been about 19 or maybe 20 or 21. He kept saying the whole time we were watching the movie, he was like, who is this dude in the boots? That's all he kept saying. So, that's my history with Halloween 5. I thought it was great when I saw it on video. And then I watched it a couple more times throughout my teenage years when I was like, 13, 14, 15. I re-rented it again around the time Curse of Michael Myers had come out. And I had seen it a couple times when it had first come on Cinemax back in the day. Way before Curse of Michael Myers had even come out. So either way, when Curse of Michael Myers came out, I rented all the movies again. And I kind of caught up on them again. And even back then, when I caught up on them again, I was about 14. So I was like, I still thought, although I'd always thought 4 was better than 5, but I always thought 5 was okay. It wasn't until many years later, once I probably got into my 20s, that I just realized that Halloween 5 sucks. I mean, it just sucks. Now, I will still hold, I know some people even say Halloween 4 sucks. Now, in my opinion, I like Halloween 4 as part of the non-Carpenter Deborah Hill sequels. I think out of just the strictly Mustafa Akkad sequels, I think Halloween 4 is the strongest one. Out of that little trilogy of 4, 5, and 6. Obviously it's the best one. And they just got worse. And it wasn't until I got much older that I just said, man, this movie sucks, man. And I'm going to go along with the reasons why Halloween 5 sucks, which all of us already know, but none of you have seen me talk about it, RMJ Movie Reviews, on my channel, so I'm going to tell you why it sucks. I mean, number one, the reason it sucks, everybody agrees, all of us Meyer fans agree across the board, that mask sucks. That mask looks stupid. But the only cool thing I like about that mask, is I kind of like the hair. Kind of the long mullet look. Because it almost looks like his hair grew on the mask. So I like the mullet in the hair. That's it. Other than that, I cannot even contemplate of what they were thinking. I just don't know. I don't know. The mask is horrible. Now, I disagree with kind of the way they went with Michael in 4 and 5 and 6 and how they wanted to make him bigger. I kind of agree with Daniel Farrens, as in the essence of Michael Myers is kind of the Michael Myers of 1 and 2. And even though some people say Dick Warlock is too short and he wore lifts, and the lifts can be a little bit distracting in Halloween 2. But regardless, I think the creepiness of Michael Myers is that he looks like a young man who's doing these killings under a mask. That's like when you physically see Michael Myers in 1 and 2, it looks like a very young man. Like a young man in his early 20s who's put on this mask and he's elevated to some other demonic force of nature. So he looks like a guy, but he's more than a guy. It isn't a man, like Dr. Loomis said, right? So that's the cool thing. That's what makes it so creepy in 1 and in 2. And by making him much larger in 4 and really in 5, because the gentleman who plays him in 5 is a very big man. I mean, like a muscular guy. Which, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not sure if that look worked for Michael Myers. I think maybe more Jason Voorhees, but not Michael Myers. And I don't think that was the right way to go. I'm not getting on Rob Zombie's thing. That's a whole different category. I'm sticking here with 5. Because it's more of a continuation, supposed to be a continuation from number 2 to 4. The characters. We all unite, all of us Michael Myers heads all agree. Tina is, I mean, man, it wasn't even until I started watching the movie when I was an adult that I said, man, this chick is, oh man, it's matter of fact, and you know what? I'm not even just gonna bash her. It's not the actress. I've seen the actress do interviews. She seems like she's a very kind, down to earth, loves to act kind of person, But the characters, all of them stink, and even Dr. Loomis does. Sheriff Brackett, who seems like a really cool, no nonsense type of cat, he's taking out the mix, and then Rachel, we lose Rachel, which. In this movie, Ellie Cornell, I think is her name. I love that actress. She just has an air of sweetness to her. She seems very like a genuine person. She's just very sweet. And the fact that she gets killed off early, I mean, that's cool because it's going the route of sequels from the 80s and all that, of slasher movies that the person from the last movie dies in the next one and anybody can die at any time. I get it. But, you know, I think that took a big hit when they took her out of it. And to make Tina the lead was just like, because she's so just over the top with everything. Like, even when she talks to the dog, Max, and she's doing all this stuff, and she's like, oh, I'm trying to be sensible. How can I never be sensible? This is her the whole movie. That's her whole performance for like, and she doesn't die until at least an hour into the movie. That's her entire performance. And she just doesn't stop. And her little blonde friend is like that too. She's just, and they're like holding their hands like, oh, we're going to go to the party tonight. Oh my God. And they're kissing each other's hands. And it's like, what the hell is going on here? Are you guys like bi? Which is, hey, look, nobody out there, it's nothing wrong with if you're bi. That's cool. But I'm just saying they're already annoying. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Her boyfriend, who looks like her brother because he's blonde too, he's just like, and he's doing all this weird stuff. And I'm like, this guy is like too goofy because she's like a hot ditzy blonde, but she's like too hot for this guy. They're both blonde. They look like brothers and sisters. And then I don't know who this other guy is, the leather jacket guy who looks like he stepped out of The Outsiders, and he's just like, don't mess with the car, and he's got his loop earring, and he looks like he's auditioning for the next season of Beverly Hills 90210 with his sunglasses. I can't stand him. Oh my God. Dr. Loomis, in the meantime, is losing his freaking mind. He's going crazy. In this movie, he has totally lost it. If you basically just take the scene from Halloween 2 where he goes, what is it you do, fellas? Fire a warning shot, right? And he shoots the window. Okay, right. Take that aspect of the part where he goes, you stay with me and shut up. Take those two scenes and extend it for an hour and 30 minutes. Dr. Loomis has gone over the edge. He's lost it. Now, Donald Pleasence, God rest his soul, he was a fantastic actor. And no, that man was, now in digressing, I believe John Carpenter had said on the commentary for Prince of Darkness that that Donald Pleasence was I think he was a veteran. He was in a war. He fought in the war. He was in World War, and I guess he was captured, and he was put in a camp and tortured. John Carpenter confirms this on the commentary. So when Donald Pleasence can go to a dark, scary place, that man can be scary. And I will say, as Dr. Loomis in this movie, he's creepy and scary. He might just be more creepier and scarier than Michael Myers himself. He's bat crazy in this. But I will say, I do seek a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I will say, there are a couple of movie reviewers on YouTube who I really like. Some guys, I think they're called We Watch the Movie. I just got hip to those guys. I really like those guys. But one of the co-hosts was imitating Donald Pleasence. He goes, what's it going to do with that? And I just thought, that just nailed it. It was the perfect imitation. That dude is hilarious to me, man. I just think those cats are funny. I love their show. But that's Donald Pleasence in this whole movie. And he's screaming at the girl. Digressing on the commentary, Danielle Harris actually said that she could smell a little alcohol on Donald Pleasence's breath. So, for him to, he was getting loaded before he was shooting those scenes, because I can't imagine how much he probably terrified Danielle Harris. I mean, that's hilarious. Can you see Donald Pleasence just like, what is he going to do with that? It's just funny, man. But he's losing his mind. I mean, he takes the sheriff's walkie-talkie and smashes it. This guy's lost it. So along with the annoying characters and the fact that Loomis has pretty much lost his mind, the movie just meanders. It meanders. I guess we're supposed to believe that Michael is trying to, because that's what he kind of does throughout the whole 1 and 2. He's tracking Jamie Lee Curtis, but it kind of is a pattern to how he's tracking her. Here he's just like all over the place. He goes to Rachel, so I guess he's at the house. But I guess he wanted to just go here, hurry up and kill Rachel, and then maybe, I don't know why he would kill Rachel so early, because then he can't follow her to the hospital to find Jamie. I don't know. It's just stupid. So I guess after he gets pissed, kills Rachel, I guess that's why he's following Tina and all. He's following Tina and all them friends to catch up with Jamie. But it doesn't even matter anyway because Jamie gone ahead and breaks out of the little kid's home and actually goes to the place and gives her own self to Michael Myers basically to protect Tina. When, I mean, really, the world could have just done without Tina. I mean, she's that annoying of a character. But thank God she does get off. And I will say, I will give that her death is pretty good. It's when that knife goes into her shoulder and she goes, oh! And I was like, oh, it felt real. Like, it was just like, okay, that was out of because these movies are fantasy, kind of out there, extravagant horror films. That was a moment that felt kind of Silence of the Lambs. Like, I felt that when I felt that one. And her going, ah, I was like, that I will give it, that was good. That was good. The guy with the boots, it's just annoying. It just confuses the audience. It's just like, why are you here? Why? That's all I felt was just why? You know, and you come to find out, like we all know, they didn't even know who he was. They rushed this thing together so quickly that they were just like, well, he could be his brother, he could be anybody, but whoever writes the next movie can explain who he is. And it's just like, what? That is just... You have to... That's why you have a script. You have a script so you can have somewhere to go. How do you think James Cameron would have came out with the Terminator series if he would have just wrote Terminator 1 any old kind of way? Terminator 2 wouldn't be what it is, digressing. But that's why you have a plan. They didn't have any of that. So the guy with the boots is annoying, the characters are annoying, and the movie meanders. I don't know what Michael's plan is, and then there's like this psychic link that she has with him. They just threw that in there, and she's not talking and doing all this, and then she talks to Tina, and then the other kid can't talk either, but I know where he is. I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it, man. And then, of course, we will talk about the Myers house, okay? I remember even when I saw it on video, I was like, wait a minute. This is the Myers house from 1 and 2? I mean, even though I was 9 years old, I was old enough to know that don't look like the same house that was in 1 and 2. It's this big, gigantic... Which basically, long story short, the reason they chose that house was because it was a location... No, I think the director claims on the commentary that he was like, well... We wanted it. What the original Myers house wasn't big, or as he goes, the original Myers house was not too big. So we want something where people can go down the vents and go to attics and go. He's saying all this stuff on the commentary, but the reality is look, I've worked on films, worked on short films. Man, look, that was an easy location for them to get, and it was available. That's the reality of it. That's plain and simple. All it probably was. Now, I will give it. If this big mansion house was established in 1 and 2, I'd have been fine with it because I will say visually, it looks cool. And it is creepy, but continuity schmontinuity, they said, and it doesn't, it's just like... Michael takes off his mask. His face ain't burnt. We know he was burned to smithereens in Halloween 2. So his hands are still burnt here, but then when he takes his mask off, because now I will give it, those scenes are kind of cool. Where you can see like Don Shanks from a distance and you can kind of see his face, but it's kind of still obscured. That kind of stuff is cool. But again, he takes his mask off. You see a teardrop. It's all dark. You don't see his face. He's not burned. Jamie goes, "You look just like me." And it's like, but didn't he get engulfed in 3rd-degree burns in number 2? Oh man, it just the whole thing is still. And then it ends anticlimactically. It just ends. And I'm telling you, y'all, for those of you who are younger and rediscovering the movies now, for those of us who were old enough when Halloween 5 came out, you all don't understand how irritating it was that this movie ended and it was years and years and I'm telling you, y'all, it felt like an eternity. When I finally heard Curse of Michael Myers was coming out, I was like, yes, we can figure out who to... Guys, when I saw Curse of Michael Myers in the theater, I was anxiously trying to figure out. I just want to know who the guy in the boots was. That was the whole purpose I saw Curse of Michael Myers. I wanted to know who the guy... I wanted to know what the hell Halloween 5 was about. That was why I saw it. And we don't even really learn that much. Because these two movies, 6 and 5, are a complete smack in the face to people. And, that's the biggest thing. They're smacks in the face. I mean, they cheat the audience. That's the biggest sin, is that they cheat the audience. They don't even give you what you want. It doesn't feel like it's fall. It feels like it's warm outside. It's just terrible. It's very, very horrible. The kills, I think, are at least for Halloween, I feel, too Friday the 13th. Some of them are okay. You know, he stabs a guy with a pitchfork. That's good. Cuts the girl with the sickle. I mean, look, it's good for Grand Guignol, but not for Halloween, you know? I will say the punching the police officer in the jaw, banging his head on the dashboard, and hanging the cop out the window. Badass kills. Those were awesome. Those two were good. All right. Now, I've talked about pretty much everything I hate in this movie, which is 90% of it. Also, one of the things I don't like is I just don't like visually the way the movie looks with the lighting. It's so different from what kind of the visual schemes that they had in 1 and in 2 and even in 4. You know, which 4's visual scheme was more close to 1. 2 was a little bit warmer. It didn't have as heavy blues, but still, it still had that creepiness to it. This here just has a flat made-for-TV look. The only moments of cinematography I do like in this film, now I'm going to switch to the good, which very little there is, so I can tell you real quick, is that I will give that the atmosphere and tone is very dreadful. I will give them that. It has a very sinister, mean edge to it. That's a point for Halloween 5. One point. It really feels sinister. It does feel eerie, and it does feel creepy, and it does, like I said, it does have that nasty edge. You know, the hanging the cop from the window, the trying to stab Jamie through the thing, and when Jamie finds the bodies in the attic, disturbing, creepy. He's got the dog hung up by the neck. He's got Sonny Lamon's son from Predator hung up on the thing. Rachel's in the court. That's a creepy moment when she goes, "Rachel, please help me," and you know Rachel's dead. So she's not gonna. That was creepy. I give him that. That was gut wrenching. You know, "Rachel, please help me," and Rachel's dead. You know that kind of messes with me now that I watch the film and I'm older. But that was creepy and good. And I will say, the scene that is genuinely creepy in the entire film, the scene in the barn. I will give that, not before Michael actually attacks, but the scene where I think it's like Tina is kind of walking in, she's looking for the cat, and you can kind of see him in the smoke, and he's kind of, and the way that lighting kind of comes through the shafts of the barn, that was creepy. Very creepy, very eerie. And I think the scene where Tina kisses him in the car with the monster mask, and you just see his eyes stare at her, and he starts clenching the steering wheel. Creepy. That's about where it ends. You know, that's about all you can. I mean, that's about it. The attic scene and the barn scene. You know, Tina in the car. That's about as creepy as it gets. You know, it's just a lackluster, poorly put together, ill-conceived, rushed sequel. And it ends anticlimactically and unsatisfyingly, and there's no likable characters. Not even Jamie. I mean, she's mute half the movie. We don't learn anything from her. We could start to learn a little bit more from Rachel. I mean, I would have liked if they would have elaborated a little bit more on why Jamie stabbed her mother from the first one, but they just discard with that and just throw that away. So it's just... And then to throw this guy in with the boots, it's a piss poor movie, man, with unlikable characters, man. Over the top, I think kills that are too Friday the 13th, and ends anticlimactically, and it doesn't feel like Halloween. You know, it's just in the end a dumb horror slasher unnecessary sequel. They could have ended it on 4 and it could have been fine, but yeah, this thing is bad, man. It's a bad movie. I don't even really have anything else to say about Halloween 5 other than I like to entertain, and I actually sat through this thing for you all. What a sacrifice I made. I don't think it'll ever happen again. RMJ Movie Reviews. I'll see you guys soon.